Welcome to the Men Talk Ubuntu podcast. Our guest this episode is Arn Terry, the founder and creator of Freetown Mindset, coach extraordinaire, father of the year, 5 a.m. club member, and a man on a mission to help you keep winning. Arn, it's a pleasure to have you here. Please tell us about your story and your journey.
Thank you so much for having me on there, Shay. I'm really motivated. Gratitude and appreciation. So you've done a great introduction. I don't think I could have done it better myself. It would have taken me weeks to put that together. So yeah, as you said, I'm a husband, father of three. And I've created Freetown Mindset as a coach, mentor, and just to help people have fun along the way by turning the passion into profit. So where do I start? My backstory is I am a recruiter of 15 years, going back 15 years ago, and I've basically gone through a lot of challenges in terms of bringing in clients, working with different clients around the world as well, and working as someone who is in sales and having constant no's, it kind of strengthens your mindset. So it's that positivity, which I'm sure we can go back into backstory and that, but I'm just doing a quick high level overview. So working as a salesperson, as a recruiter, over the years, then moving into a senior consultant, to a principal, to a team lead, to a manager, to a head of practice, to someone who controls a budget, a profit and loss. It brought me into another journey to create my own recruitment business. And then that led me on to creating Freetown Mindset, because I knew the mindset was key. I knew what we think about can potentially become reality. And if we want to start something new in our life, it always starts with the mind, which is why I created Freetown Mindset.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that, Arn. I think that transitions beautifully into the focus topic for today, which is mindset. And of course, we'll touch on mental health. So I guess to begin with, Arn, how would you describe your mindset? I know you've mentioned or touched on it briefly, but how would you actually describe your mindset to someone off the street, if you will?
Yeah. So I'll split it down into two categories. I can talk about the Arn Terry of 10 years ago and the Arn Terry of today. The Arn Terry of 10 years ago, if something negative, maybe this, if someone's listening to the podcast now, maybe this was you the 10 years ago, or maybe you was on the letter, but I'll talk about the former. What I'm talking about now is if something negative happened, it was rage, it was constant emotion, it was the why me, it was nothing works out for me, it was kind of the pity party, the best way to explain it. And not seeing a way out of it, just basically thinking that the universe was against me or whatever was against me. So that's, again, a very quick high-level overview of my mindset back then to what my mindset is now when I get challenges, because we all get challenges in our life, especially due to 2020, which has brought out a lot of fears, emotions, and anxiety of people. But the way I deal with my mindset now is, first of all, I know that if I stay positive, I keep the focus, repetition, and the motivation, no matter how I'm feeling, I will start to feel better. Another way that I deal with it as well is just doing things that make me happy. For example, having this conversation with you and having this conversation to help others is something that can help your mindset. So it's again talking to people. You don't obviously have to be on a podcast interview, but it's talking through with other people. And another thing as well, I visualize a lot. So I visualize my mindset. And again, this is for any of the Marvel fans out there as well. I visualize my mindset as a physical thing. So I see it in my mind's eye, and I literally say it's bonded with vibranium. So any geeks out there who watch Marvel and watch Black Panther, they know that vibranium, is this what the suit's made out of, and vibranium absorbs and repels energy. So the way I see it is it's literally coated with vibranium. So when I'm getting negativity, because no matter how strong you are in your mind, things will pull you in the wrong direction. So I take it on board and then I repel it out, just as when you're watching the Marvel movies, or just as when you're watching Wolverine, his skeletons bonded with
adamantium.
adamantium. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's where I do it. So I visualize that that my mind and my mindset is strong, and then I basically trick myself. That's the best way to do it. I trick myself into that belief state, which is why when I've had extremely negative news and bad news, obviously because of what's going on at the moment, is I know I can get through it, and it's just about pushing forward and not stopping in fear or stopping in hell or stopping in storm. You got to push through it.
Could I ask then? So you mentioned that it was about 10 years ago that the mindset shift started to occur for you. What was the turning point or the key experience that caused that shift?
My younger sister will lay claim to. She'll put her hand up and say, "Yeah, it was her that did it." So she got me the book, The Secret, by Rhonda Byrne. And I read that book. Honestly, it's one of those things where the best way to describe that as well is just think about when you're marinating chicken or some meat or food, you put the spices and the juices into it and you leave it to settle like overnight or maybe a day or so. And that's what the book did with me. But it took a long time for it to actually sink in, because I read it again, and then didn't really think anything of it. But then certain stuff would happen in my life and circumstances, and it kind of like my subconscious. It was basically stuck in my subconscious. It would kick in and help me. So then I went into reading different books, like the Alchemists, and then others and others like that around mindset. And I would say that's the first book that kind of led me on to that. But it's been, which I'm grateful for, a slow and learned journey. I've not rushed into anything, and I'm still learning every single day on how to keep the positivity, the focus, and repetition.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the way you describe that, whether it's with the reference to the Marvel approach with vibranium and adamantium and that being our mind, because I think one of the issues most of us face is our brain is always like that. So if currently you're focusing on the negative, it's bouncing away the positive and trying to maintain that sort of mindset. And I think obviously being in recruitment, that takes a great deal of, say, resilience, and you have to almost, I think a lot of people underestimate how much you have to essentially care about people and wanting people to get better. And similar to what you're touching on with the Alchemist, want them to see the value they have and get what they're worth, if you will, in the workplace. People overlook that side of things. So it's almost like that might be your superpower in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. And you've used the word that I love as well, which is care. Again, when people go into recruitment, and the reason why a lot of people only may stay in recruitment for maybe 2 years or 5 years or less is because they don't have that care side of it. They're just thinking about the money. This is how much money I'm going to earn. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And then if you're just in it for the money, something may not go your way, and then obviously you just lose hope and faith, and then you quit, which goes in life with business as well. So all you found out very easily by your clients and candidates that you're not really in it to help people as well. And yes, obviously we need the finances to pay our bills, etc., but it's the service that comes first, and then everything else follows after. So care is, to me, it's one of the most powerful words out there. The use of care and the embrace of care as well.
Great. Would you say that there's anyone who comes to mind who, other than your sister, who's late flame, who cared for you and perhaps really helped you in a big way as well?
Obviously my mum. She helped me a lot, but it's one of those things where, again, I love my mum so much, but it's the kind of things where people can do stuff in the wrong way, to make you realize, okay, well, that's not how to do it. This is how I'm going to do it instead. So obviously my mum, well, obviously, but people listen to this now, they'll know that my mum now, she's from Africa, West Africa, Sierra Leone, Freetown. And that's a nice segue slightly, but I'll come back to that question into where I got Freetown Mindset from, because Freetown's where my mum comes from, and then obviously big into mindset, and I wanted to do justice to my mum's place of heritage, which is Freetown. And then obviously I kind of squished the two words together with Freetown Mindset. So going back onto mother, is she helped me out a lot in terms of hard work, resilience, mindset, because my mum is a typical, unfortunately, African family member who came to the UK and worked for the NHS, and was working for the NHS, crazy hours every single day, and literally having to book in advance, maybe a year or 2 years in advance, to book Christmas Day off, or Boxing Day, or even Easter. So that helped me out a lot in terms of the hard work. But somewhere down the line, I kind of got lost, and I kind of just focused up into my kind of young 30s, that it was just hard work, but not having the fun side to it of it as well. So I guess when you're watching people work hard, you need to realize that it's not just hard work that can, for you to achieve greatness as well. You need to kind of sometimes just setbacks and just enjoy the moment and not push it too hard. So that's one thing that I learned. Another great thing that I learned is actually selling sandwiches in my youth. This is back in when I was in school, high school. So it must have been, oh gosh, I'm showing my age now. So it must have been from 1993, 94, 95, 96, maybe even 97 as well. I was a top sandwich salesperson. And the reason why I was selling sandwiches in school was, like many, didn't have any pocket money. And I wanted to buy stuff for myself, really, and I didn't have that. So I came up with the idea that I wasn't going to eat lunch, so I would make my sandwiches and start selling them. And it was a win-win, because kids in school, they wanted to save money rather than spending their dinner money on expensive school meals. They would buy my sandwiges for like 20p per slice, and then it was win-win. So then that started to get bigger and bigger, and then literally I spoke to my mum and they said, is it all right if I start selling more sandwiches? And it was that kind of belief in me, I call that my first business, that belief in me, and not being a typical parent, why do you want to sell your sandwiches for, etc., etc. Just eat your food and shut up. She was like, okay, yeah. She knew that she couldn't give me the pocket money. So the deal was, she bought the bread, the butter, the cheese, and I sold it in school. And it's interesting, and this is kind of some good business and life stories. Again, anyone who's an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, or a business owner, small business owner, big business owner, this is key takeaways, what will happen. So I started selling more sandwiches. It started to become evident that I was making money. Then the school got involved, and then they got in contact with my mum, called my mum and started complaining, saying, do you know your son's selling sandwiches? And my mum's response was, yes. And they was like, okay, Mr. Terry, just wanted to let you know that your son is selling sandwiches. Mum was like, yes. So one takeaway from that is, when you're starting your business up and you start to do well, you're always going to have someone coming in trying to steal some of that, or wanting to stop it because of obviously maybe checks and balances in terms of the government, checking legislation, checking with law. So you just need to make sure that where you're getting your supply from has got your back and everything's in order. So if I had have done it in secret and not spoken to my mum about selling sandwiches, then when the school phoned up, it would have been a case of, I didn't know my son was selling sandwiches, I'm going to have a word with him, and then my business would have been shut overnight. So hopefully someone's got a bit of a key takeaway on that, just being honest with your supplier, producer, or wherever your business is coming from. And another thing that happened as well was I had competition. Someone came in, started selling sandwiches, cheaper, undercut me, but that person was getting produce from a cheaper, a budget supermarket, which isn't with us anymore. And then when people started to have his products, Sandwiches, they just all flocked to him. I lost everything. My business went overnight. And again, hopefully this is a key takeaway. My business went overnight. Again, I'm 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm talking about my younger self here.
Yes.
And then when I realized and started tasting the product was not as good as mine. So then they all said, no, we're not going to buy your sandwiches anymore. And they all came back to me, and the appreciation came back to them that I was selling my sandwiches virtually close to his price, but my quality was so much better. Not only that, I got more customers, obviously my school friends.
Yeah.
I got more customers, and guess what? I put my prices up. So I made more money. So I went from making like £6 a week to 10, £12 a week, in the early 90s. So again, your product is key. The quality of products is key, and you will lose people in business. But as long as you stay true to yourself and you stay focused that your product is good, and you keep marketing yourself out. Because I would literally go to school with my bag, with my sandwiches in my bag. Anyone want any sandwiches? Nope, we're going to Warren. Anyone want sandwiches? Nope, we're going to Warren. But I just kept doing that and then they finally came back to me, and then my price went up. So hopefully that's another takeaway.
Yeah, I think it's a really powerful takeaway in many respects, because I guess one of the things that we're intending to do for the people listening is provide that insight into the lived experiences of Black men. And there'll be young Black men right now who are like 13, 14, 15, and might have that entrepreneurial spark, or that get up and go, I want to do something, and I want to change and be responsible for my own situation or results, right? And it might be a similar story, but one of the key ingredients in that is, you say supplier, but it's having those people around you who encourage you. And I think sometimes that's something we don't necessarily hear when it comes to young Black men in particular. We don't hear about those who are trying to take the positive steps. Was your competitor another young Black man, or was it, say, someone?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Grand. Because it's not a crabs in a bucket situation or in a barrel situation, which people try to say. It shows that there were at least 2 young, enterprising Black men in your school. And
exactly. Yeah.
Which should be applauded. And some of the immediate results are, no, we need to shut this person down. Maybe he's, kicking the tuck shop's rear end. And I guess one suggestion or one thought there might be, in terms of supporting or encouraging someone who is 13, 14, 15, young, and has these ideas. It might not be a sandwich. It might be something else with today's society. It might even just be social media, which I know you're quite active on, and putting a lot of positivity out there. What's the suggestion or tip that you would give to them?
So two things which you mentioned. Obviously, you're talking about the physical and digital side. So I would say try both. Again, don't say that I've said you need to do this, but this is what Arn Terry as a young teen would do in 2020 now. So what Arn Terry would do is, I would still do the physical. So I would go and get the multi-packs of crisps, chocolates, whatever. You need to study environment, see what your pupils are eating and consuming and want, or they can't get. You just need to have an ear out for them. So they say, oh, I wish our school did this. I wish our school did that. So then you obviously just go and speak to your parents again, and just say, this is what I want to do, hopefully to make more money. So mum, dad, I'm not going to be pestering you for pocket money if this works out. So then you go to your supermarket, you obviously get it in multi-pack before you enter the school gates, because I know stuff has changed and stuff like that now. Before you enter the school gates, you have your kind of collection. And the thing is, for anyone, obviously we're on the podcast, I'm showing my phone. Every school child now has got a mobile phone. You set up your WhatsApp group for everyone then in there. You let them know that you're going to be at point A or point B with X and Y products, and you basically set your little stall, your shop out away from the school property. This is what I would be doing with modern technology. So I'll be doing the physical, something like that. It doesn't have to be crisp chocolates, confectionery, let's just call it. It could be something else. It could be anything else, but you just need to have an ear out for what your pupils, sorry, your colleagues, students, whatever, are asking for. And then on the other side, on the social media side of it as well, what I'll be doing personally straight away now is another thing, same idea. I'll be thinking, what are my classmates into, on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever else that they're hanging out at the moment. And I will start to document my journey and talk about that physical thing or that thing digitally, and I'll get my friends to come and follow me. Prime example, I'll use my daughter as an example. She's 12. So she's going through a journey which I'm kind of slowly trying to get her into. So she's got her blog, which she's been blogging for the past year, and she's just set up a YouTube channel. So she loves talking about, she loves playing Roblox, which is obviously a game online. So she's set up her YouTube channel now at the moment, and then she's getting all her friends to watch her YouTube videos. So she's building up her community across YouTube. She only started a couple of weeks ago. I think she's got like 15 subscribers, but she's getting like 70, 50, 60 views on a subscription of 15, which is unheard of. It's phenomenal what she's getting. And on TikTok, she's got just under 2,000 followers, and she's only following about 180 people. So I'll be talking to the Arn Terry teenager of 2020.
Yes.
I wouldn't be the consumer. I would be the producer. So you need to think about what you can start producing. Don't be a follower. Yes, obviously you need to follow people to content, but I'm saying don't just be a follower, or just don't be a consumer. Think about what people are asking for and talking about, and then you go and replicate that and create your own platform. And if my daughter, which I'm sure she will do, is continue to do that within the next 5 years, who knows, she could have millions of subscribers, and then she's got a residual income. But the main thing I'll be saying to my younger self in 2020 is just have fun with it. And that's what I did back in the day when I was selling the sandwiches. I was just having fun with it. I was literally just like, this is great. I'm just bringing these sandwiches in and I'm making £6-10 a week and got money for myself.
Excellent. I see. That's why I said Arn is the father of the year, you see, because I think that means of encouraging the younger people. And at the moment, I'm talking about the younger people, but we can easily, hopefully, all see how that can transition into Arn in his 20s, Arn in his 30s, like whatever stage in life you're at, the principles, I think, are the same. I think it might be from the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where I think
Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
yeah. I think he has that idea of you don't get your child to be just a consumer. You ask, rather than them asking you for money, they should think, how can I earn the money to get, like, I want a PlayStation 5.
Yes.
It's Christmas. Give me a PlayStation 5. It's what can I do to earn the money to get a PlayStation 5? It's a very different mindset. And I think, especially this current period or the pandemic just showed how important that is, because you almost have to create your own opportunities. And when you've got access to all sorts of platforms with your phone, it's a great idea. A lot of parents, I think, obviously rightly so, depending on the age of your child, are freaked out by the mobile phone and how much access they have to everything on there. But there's a very different perspective you can take, which is much more positive and probably encourages the child to speak to you about this. About what they're doing on the phone, which is, hey, let's work together and let's figure out how to turn your passion into some sort of profit, or whether that's because they might not be driven in a monetary sense, just how you can convey your passion to other people. And I suppose I'd like to touch on part of what allowed you to transition, because you've had a lot of these different transitions into Arn as of today, and moving away more from the, I suppose, the recruitment and pursuing more of your own personal passion.
So what, again, just to go into my backstory, I've gone, like many of us, we've gone through challenges. So 2008 was a massive challenge for me, 2008, 2009, when we went through the financial credit crunch, the global meltdown, whatever you want to call it. So back then, I was obviously a young recruiter. And then literally my clients were investment banks, hence me having a lot of challenges. One of my main clients was Bear Stearns, which was a large investment bank. They disappeared overnight. So it meant my revenue, or should I say my commission bonus, completely stopped. Back then, you was really, really reliant on your commission because your basic salary was extremely low. And obviously, like most people going through now through this pandemic, is your outgoings are more than your income.
Yeah.
So what that meant for me was I did what everyone else would do. Again, I think I had to go through this journey to understand I didn't do it the right way. I went and got a second job. So I was working my recruitment job, doing 55, 60 hours a week. Then I got a second job in Tesco, good old F&F side in the warehouse. And then I was working, obviously, Monday to Friday, my recruitment job. And then I was working also Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. I was doing like a 9 till 7. Sunday I was doing a 10 till 4. So it was constant. It was Groundhog Day. Completely burnt myself out doing that for half a year, maybe just under a year. But it got me through the storm. Because I knew the market was going to pick back up in recruitment. I knew I wasn't going to do the second job again. But if people listening now saying, well, what would I have done differently back then? Back then, I would have done what I've doing now, which is get into social media, which is create digital courses and online courses and get into something where I'm not trading my time, because I was literally just giving my time away constantly rather than doing it the reverse way now. So that's a challenge that I can overcome. And then obviously as you when you got no money coming in, I sold my car and bought a car that was literally falling apart, etc. Everything that comes with it as well. So that really strengthened my mindset back then. And people in the present now are going through so much challenges, and then you're going to think to yourself, it's never going to end. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. You're not going to appreciate now, but it really gives you some mental strength. Just like if you go to the gym, you're lifting weights and you're doing your weights, and it's really hard. You're struggling. You're screaming, trying to do that next lift. It's kind of like when you're going through the challenges and pain, and it just makes you that stronger. Obviously, when you go to the gym and lifting your weights, maybe you feel stronger a week, 2 weeks later, but when it comes to your mindset, unfortunately, it can take years. It can take years to actually get that mental muscle built up. So that's what the challenge did for me in 2008, 2009. And I've actually gone off. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent then. But yeah, so bringing it back to now is, and I've kind of forgotten the question as well. So it's just basically for now. I'm just focused on just making sure that I'm aware of what is going on in my life. So if you can kind of help me out, because I've just literally
no. I mean, you haven't lost it at all. So I mean, the question was around how you manage that transition to say where you are now, trying to turn your passion into profit, and how, I guess, you went through what you went through. So you've given almost a very detailed description of what you were going through and what a lot of other people will be experiencing right now, comparably so, compared to the crash and the pandemic,
exactly,
causing recession and everything. So I think we got a deep dive. And I think it actually transitions well into the other area that we were going to talk around, which was around mental health, because I think that's something that's threading through everything that you've been saying so far. There is a lot of strength there. There is a lot of resiliency. There's this changing of your mindset to focus more on what's available and to engage with the right kind of resources, to take the risks, which a lot of us hesitate to do. And I think before I want to find out much more about how you've developed this incredible mindset, But what I'm curious about is, obviously there's the adage of black don't crack, and there's the be a man and suck it up.
Yeah,
And a lot of this is
yeah,
coming
yeah,
through. You're describing going through a situation where you're selling, say, a nice car, and you're having to downgrade to a car that's, like you suggest, literally falling
yeah,
apart. And by my calculations, this
yeah,
is when the family is just starting to grow as well. That to me sounds like an
yeah, exactly,
extremely
yeah.
stressful situation. And
Mm,
I
yeah,
think it's important not to just to overlook how that might affect someone. And so I think it's important to then perhaps identify within those times.
mm,
I suppose I want to get an idea of how you navigated those times, and what were the key, or how did those
yes.
times actually feel? Because I guess this is one of the things we don't talk about. We'll talk about the
Yeah, my thoughts and yeah, my
yeah
thoughts and feelings were extremely deep. My thoughts and feelings, first of all, were embarrassment.
yeah
The reason why I say embarrassment, because I believed I should be driving this nice car, and then because I was in recruitment, it's obviously sales, and then most people will be driving nice cars, and then now pulling up to the car park in something that would just resembles something that would be good enough to be on a skip or tip.
yeah
So it was the embarrassment. It was then the and also in fact going deep in the embarrassment is this is how bad the car was. Just to let you know, if I start crying, go with me on this.
virtual tissue.
So if so, yeah, exactly, yeah. So the car itself, the electrics failed. So
Okay.
the indicators didn't work. I was literally sticking my arm out the window to do a turn signal. Then the window wipers broke, so I had no wipers. This is all made up. This is all true. I think you can make a film about this. The speedometer went, so I couldn't see how fast I was going. So I had to use my revs in the car to judge to see how fast I was going. And then the car was making awful banging and clanking sounds, and that I was going through that for a year. Luckily enough, I knew a mechanic who just kept saving it for me. So the car was saved until the MOT was coming up, and then I just literally got rid of it for £550. Maybe £250 at the very most. So that was going through my head, embarrassment, and obviously
Mm,
self-doubt, and doubting myself, the voice in my head. You're not good enough, and how have you got yourself in the situation, etc., etc., etc. And then let down my family. This is
mm,
back in 2008, and we bought our first home in 2005. We got married in 2007, and then we had our daughter in 2008. So if you can imagine the financial stress, virtually year after another house, big deposit, well, not big back then, but
yeah.
big for me, the younger Arn Terry back then, and then paying for a wedding, paying for a honeymoon, and then having the financial burden of a dependent, and then the crash coming in as well. It was all challenging times. So another thing that came into mind was uncertainty as well of how I'm going to get through this. But
Yeah.
this is where I guess myself now, because I'm still going through challenges now, obviously due to my recruitment business being affected because of 2020. But the way I deal with that now versus then, as I mentioned, the self-doubt isn't there. The awareness is amplified tenfold, but the awareness is now I know I will get through this. I know things will get better. And I know as long as I keep the repetition, the action, the focus, the positivity, and stay in my true happiness, then I know I'll get through this. So back then it was literally all doom and gloom. Obviously your mood changes, your mindset changes,
Yeah.
your positivity changes. And I think I'm trying to think to myself as well, I think I actually put quite a bit of weight on as well.
Mm,
Um, I was looking at some pictures. I was just sorting, just doing some house cleaning and tidying up and getting rid of stuff. Obviously, because Christmas is coming upon us, so we're just making way for the new stuff. So yeah, I did a bit of tidy up on the saw some more pictures of myself, and I looked quite weighty back then. So, and I was actually having to think about it, and I think that was when I was going through some challenges as well. So, again, it can take different forms in terms of when you're going through mental stress and struggle. You can lose your appetite and extremely have a loss of weight, or you can gain the weight. But unfortunately for me, I gained a couple of pounds.
Yeah, because I think, like you say, everyone responds in a different way, but I think ultimately it becomes the idea that when we don't see ourselves as being as valuable as we are or as we could be, we treat ourselves in the
Yeah,
same way, right? Just like if you have
yeah,
a car that you think is amazing and beautiful and you want to clean it, you want to show it off, whereas when you don't
yeah,
really think it's impressive in any way and you're a bit, like, say, ashamed of it, you're not really going to
yeah.
want it to stand out. I feel like a lot of people end up doing that to themselves,
Yes.
don't they? Like, we don't polish ourselves up every
Yes.
day and try and
No. Yeah.
have everyone look at us.
That is such a great way of explaining it. Analogy. It's exactly the same. Yeah. When you don't feel good about yourself, you don't really want to keep yourself in the best form and frame, physically, mentally, and in your soul as well. Which is why now I'm completely opposite. I continually work on my mind, body, and soul every single day. So yeah, it's having that kind of awareness and appreciation for you as a person, just the way you would do for if you've got a material car or product or whatever that thing is that you want to keep shining and looking brand new.
Because I mean, I really I want to delve into some of what you do to maintain that mindset and some of the rituals or habits that you've developed that, like, say,
Mm,
help you keep consistent, whether it's a great day or not so
yeah,
great day. Before
yeah.
jumping into that, I'd just like to see who did and does Arn have around him? Like, who are your community, your support tribe? Who are the people that propped you up so that even perhaps when you're not feeling so great, there's always someone there to sort
Mm.
of give you a pat on the back and keep
Well,
pushing?
yeah, I start with the present. You, Shay, you are mentor is because that's something that I really needed, extremely needed, and I tell you for why. Because when you start your entrepreneur journey, solopreneur journey, it is a very very lonely place.
Yeah.
You get kicked multiple times, and honestly, I didn't and I don't really have like a go-to place to go to
Yeah.
help with my mental health. That's why I invest so much in myself, because I know it's within yourself to make sure you got the right frame of mind. But also, I'm well aware that you need a good network of people around you to help you out. So honestly, before me being you finding me being associated with Mentalk, and we went for that great walk, which was it 12 hours of walking?
I felt like it.
Yeah. When we went for that, I didn't have anything like that. But I'm constantly on different podcasts, and now I'm meeting more people, and now being out there. But I guess that was myself as well, because I wasn't looking for it. I don't think I was ready for it as well. But no, when I'm going through pain and going through certain situations, I just again look deep within myself. And now that I'm associated with your platform, with your movement of Mentalk, it's really helped me out there. So if anyone's listening to this, I thank Mentalk for obviously having me on this show, and obviously me having a conversation with you guys right now. So yeah, it's tough. Yes, I've obviously got my wife, I've got my brother, I've got my sisters, I've got my mom, I've got my children, but it's kind of different, and you can't have that conversation sometimes, or you feel like you can't have that conversation because when you're a husband, you're just seen as a husband. When you're a dad, you're just seen as a dad. When you're brother, you're seen as a brother. And the thing is, as you evolve in yourself, people still see you. Like I'm 40 in January, and I've got an older brother, and he still sees me as the young kid. You know what I mean? So there's always that thing where sometimes you can't be around or have that conversation with the usual people. That's why I think when you always hear this, people say, I can have a bit more in-depth conversation or a deep conversation with a stranger. I can have a deep conversation with this new group. It's because they haven't got any of these, I don't know what, if you can fill in the gap, kind of that fixed feeling or idea of who you are or who you was, because people keep seeing you in the past. Like I said to my brother, I'm still probably like that kid. Not probably, he still sees me like that kid. And so I think it's important to find new groups and new members, because again, like I say, I'm just being seen as a husband or a father, a dad, as a brother, as a son. But then when you meet new groups, I'm Arn Terry, I'm Arn, this is who I am. And you can have more of a deeper conversation. That's my thought on that as well. This is why I'm so glad to be part of this conversation.
Appreciate it. I mean, I would absolutely say the same, because sometimes there's a dynamic you've already got established with people. You know that when you call someone, they know that they can lean on you, or it's jokes, or there's a certain way you're fixed in.
Yeah.
And for other people, they have the preconceived ideas based on what they know of you and your experiences. So they go, well, Arn's always been the get up and go kind of guy. So they just wouldn't associate you with certain things. And like you say, it was this, the being part of a community like Mentor Ubuntu, you go in and all of a sudden it's no one knows who I am. And all they'll know is whatever I share right now. And if I say today, as of today, I'm a person who is going through a few things, and today has lifted me, they are then just curious, like, what are those things you're going through? And that's how they'll get to know all the amazing stuff you do, but they also are open to hearing about some of the other things. And I think that community is really important. I also think you're a master networker of sorts. I mean, I'm sure that plays a crucial role with recruitment, right? But even this social time where you can talk to anybody anywhere in the world, what are some of the key criteria, I suppose, for you when you're looking to connect with someone? What's the, let's say, key 3 or 1 attribute? What do they have to have or be doing to meet your criteria for connecting?
I would just say be themselves, be true, and probably the word that you use is care. I look for people who just care. Is plain and simple as that. Again, I can throw a few other words: moral compass in the right direction. I guess knowing themselves is a bit too deep, because it'll take, and I'm still knowing myself, it'll take me until I'm 80, 90, 100 to still keep knowing myself. But it's more of the care side of it as well, which is why I'm on been on a lot of podcasts, but I could have been on a hell of a lot more if I wanted to be. But I know it's not going to fit what my belief is, and I'm out there to, as you said, is just to help one person and another person, spread positivity, help others, which is so important. It's always been important, but it's been highlighted so much more now across 2020. So when I'm networking with people, it's about caring, people having the right kind of focus. It doesn't have to be that we don't have to share all the same ideas, we don't have to share all the same beliefs, but it just needs to come down to care.
Brilliant. And I suppose now is a great time to find out about your routines or rituals for self-care as well. So what are, as promised, what are some of the things that you do to keep you focused and on track?
Bear with me. There's quite a lot. So I'll do it very simple. Let's just do it as a morning, day, and in the typical busy week. Because we got week and you can slow down, you can do stuff. So let's just say busy week. So in the morning, before I get out of bed, before my feet touch the carpet, I am laying in bed, giving gratitude, giving appreciation. So the first thing is, yeah, I'm grateful that I'm literally here on this planet. I'm grateful that I'm awake. I'm grateful that I've got legs. I'm grateful that I've got arms. I'm grateful that, well, my eyesight's not the best, but at least I can see. I'm grateful that I've got a wife. I'm grateful that I've got children. This is all going through my head, so I don't think I speak it out loud. This is all going through in my inner voice, what we're going to call it. And then because I think and this is a challenge for me when I was in my younger son. My mum used to always say, you should be grateful, you should be grateful. I used to be, oh, go away kind of thing. But it kind of is when you, and again, you don't have to be older to realize this. You can be any age, like when you kind of wake up. So it's just little things like I'm grateful that we've got running water, we've got a bath, we've got a bathroom, we've got an ensuite, we've got a downstairs toilet, we've got this, we've got that, just being grateful for everything that we've got, and just, the basic things. So that's before my feet hit the carpet, but obviously I'm up slightly early to do this, so it's not a rush. I do my box breathing. So, box breathing, for anyone that isn't familiar, it's just controlling your breath. So I literally breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds, and I repeat that maybe 6 to 10 times. But I must say though, it works very, very effectively. If you are in bed doing it, you may actually fall back asleep. I do it so many times. so I must say that as a disclaimer, don't blame me if you fall back asleep. If you want to do that, you sit up and do it. So deal with breath work as well. Obviously, then I'm up with the children, and that's kind of my routine. Taking my son to school, blah blah blah, and then getting on with my day. And then also in the morning, I'm doing my meditation as well. Doesn't have to be long. Again, I don't. It depends what works for you. I think a lot of people get what's the word, confused with meditation, or they are kind of put off by it because you think you need to be some yogi or some master. It's literally what I've just explained: doing your breath work, breathing for 5, hold it for 5, and breathe out for 5, and literally just quiet your mind. It's the best way to explain it is keeping still, keeping your eyes closed. It's just like when you're training your dog and you're telling your dog to sit and stay there for 5 minutes. Don't pick up your phone. Don't listen to the TV. Have everything switched off, and then you're going to do it for 10 minutes, and you're going to do it for 15 minutes. So, I do it for at least 50 minutes twice a day. It's just quiet my mind. So that's what I do. It's kind of my routines as well. And if I also do like focus meditation, which is just looking at a certain symbol. For me, it's the Sri Yantra, which is like a sacred geometry. People try and date it to like 10,000 years, but it could be a lot longer. It could be millions of years old, this symbol. So for me, it helps me with my focus. It helps me with repetition. So that's what I do. And, it's just making sure I always stay in the present, by being awareness. I think for anyone, hopefully a takeaway from this is awareness. You just need to be aware of your surroundings and aware of your thoughts. So when you start thinking, oh God, I've had a bad day yesterday, just okay, be aware that you're speaking, the inner voice is saying, and go, yeah, thank you very much for popping up. I'm going to have a good day today. Simple as that. Be aware what you're thinking, or you're thinking like, oh, my partner's annoyed me, or my kids are really annoying me, or I'm so tired. Right, okay, I'm aware of that thought. That's fine. I'm going to get up and move on. And it's exercise as well. I like to run consistently. I did like to cycle, but I got knocked off a bike recently. Well, in September, I literally got my bike crushed, but that's a different story. So for now, I just do a lot of running, and then when the gyms open up properly again, I'm sure I'll be back to the gym consistently. But then it comes down to another thing as well, and I'm sure most men will probably frown at this or kind of like raise the eyebrow. It's literally just having a hot bath and chilling out. So what I do is I get simple rock salt, sea salt, get a cup of that, and I get a cup of bicarbonate of soda. Bicarbonate soda. I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
And literally put it in the cup, throw it into the bath, get some essential oils, put in there, and literally have a soak for like 15-20 minutes. And because you're putting the salt, sea salt in there, and the soda in there as well, is it basically draws out any toxins. So you don't even have to think about the spiritual thing. Think about it if you are someone who is a physical worker. So you may be working as an engineer or a plumber or a gas fitter or something like that. And any of the nasty toxins and whatever that gets on you, or fumes, car fumes, it kind of draws all that out from your skin. So I do that as a cleanse at least once a week. But there's many more stuff that I do. But for me, hopefully, if anyone can take away, it's just making sure that you're aware of your thoughts.
Brilliant. I think that self-care element and the cleansing element is really important, because I don't think enough people really dedicate enough time to it. I like how you described the beginning the day with gratitude, because it can feel, because even meditation it's like learning how to use the remote, because it's when you wake up, maybe let's say you're on the news and it's going to be the negative, and it's flying through. You just change the channel. It's like, okay, cool. I see that that's going on. Let me click on to something else. And lo and behold, you can choose to just go, rather than, oh, I'm so stressed, I've got to go to work, I hate my job.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the biggest fan of my current job, but I get to look after my family. I get to actually hang out with my family. So it gets you to focus on the important things, which are there, that the work does help. And it might reframe how you look at your job. I think it was Zig Ziglar, one of the great motivational speakers and people of the day, where he's like, you start with, I love my job because, and because none of us are usually doing this stuff for free anyway. So they at least pay you for it. So just love your job because of that, and look for reasons to love your job, and it will change your approach when you get there. And so it's a great mindset to have. I also really like this idea of taking time again to refocus during the day and just keep yourself centered, because it's sometimes tough, especially if you're used to just running through the motions. So that might be something for people to try yet again as they go through. What I might want to ask is people want to know about money as well, Arn, don't they?
Of course, yeah.
And these are some of the things I think you tend to describe as going into helping you shape the billionaire mindset, or the mindset adopted by people who tend to have amassed these massive fortunes that we look at and admire. What do you think most people should aspire for the billionaire mindset, or most people don't actually know what they would spend the billion on and they wouldn't cope with the stress? Is it better to form some of these ideas before you start pursuing money?
First of all, it depends on the person. If you are interested in obviously having a bit of I think everyone should, again, don't get me wrong, I focus to obviously make money for myself and my family to have a better life. So I think everyone has the right and deserves to have the best life possible. But some people's best life possible may just be, living in a small hut on the beach somewhere, just fishing, and that's their life. And there's nothing wrong about that, because they are king of or queen of their own reality, what's going on there. But for anyone that wants the material things and the billionaire mindset, there's absolutely nothing at all wrong with that at all. Nothing at all wrong about that. Anyone can achieve what they believe they can achieve, but it starts in the mind first. So what people really need to realize is your thoughts become things. I would personally, if anyone listens to this now, is literally just pause for a couple of minutes and say to yourself, what have I been thinking about the last 72 hours, the last week? What has been in my thought? Probably the last 72 hours is the best way. So has it been the Netflix that you've been watching? Has it been the Amazon movies? Has it been a recent movie? Has it been, eating X or Y? Or has it been, how can I make £100,000 a month? Has it been, how do I become a billionaire? Has it been, how do I network with this person? Has it been, how do I grow my business? Has it been, how do I become an employee to becoming an entrepreneur? If it's obviously the latter, then you're on your way to becoming great in your own right. But if it's the other way, of just doing what everyone else is doing, chasing Coronation Street, or what happened on Coronation Street, or I've checked the news on coronavirus and that's been your last 72 hours, nothing's going to change. You are literally going to be stuck within that. And the only way you're going to change it is by changing your mindset and change what you've been thinking about, because your thoughts truly will become things. So that's what I'll be doing first of all, because you need to have your checks and balances about checking, okay, what I've been thinking about. I've actually been thinking about how do I become an entrepreneur? What do I do? What to do? So, the next thing is obviously to put into action. What have you actually done about it? That's the next thing. And so it depends where you're up to. If you've been thinking about Coronation Street and EastEnders or all those kind of soaps and Netflix, and there's nothing wrong about that. I binge watch, but I do it within the right balance, I should say.
Yeah.
But if that's all it's been, the next thing you need to be okay, well, I've been thinking about all this stuff which isn't going to help me financially. Now what I need to do is now start thinking about the stuff that is going to help me financially. And then you just start that way, and then you start thinking about, okay, how do I start? What books, what journals? YouTube's a great thing to go onto. So you can find your people, your tribe, or whatever you want to call it, on YouTube or Facebook or whatever else is, to actually give you some motivation to become that. So yeah, going back to your question, there is no issue at all on that. And for myself, I've gone on that journey. So just to give you a bit of information, I literally was thinking to myself, how can I connect with a billionaire? What do I need to do to connect with a billionaire? So that was my thought. Yeah. And this way I'm saying your thoughts become things. And then lo and behold, not even too long after that, I actually found a black billionaire. Actually, he's an American dude. And then not only did I find him through going through my own avenues, we actually had a scheduled call, and now I've got his cell number. So I've literally got him on call, and I did say to him, I will be giving you a call in a not so distant future once I've got myself sorted in terms of a business, so he can help me scale it to level where it needs to get to. So we need to realize that we are extremely powerful. We can make or break our own physical reality.
Yeah, you have to just decide what you would like, and then how you will get there. You don't think about that. You just know where you want to get and what you want to do. And funnily enough, things happen that get you there. So I think I just keep going back, for whatever reason, to this idea of men not wanting to take a bath. I don't know why. Not in a we're not clean type of way, but in a cleanse ourselves, and
in a cleanse, because it's always seen as a woman having the bath bombs.
I don't know why that's really just clicked. I think it's this idea of why don't you look after yourself or give yourself some time to just recharge?
Yeah.
And I think there are many things that we should all try and do. Oh, hello. For those of you not watching.
My daughter just literally walked in.
Hello there.
My daughter just walked in and she's being nosy. Are you saying hello? Right, you're going to go back to mummy while daddy finishes off? Yeah. Right, okay, love you. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right,
bye.
Go to mummy. Go and shut the door, please, darling.
Father
just
of the year,
nosy.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Never stops. Shut the door, please. So
positive.
So exactly. So I'm gonna have to shut the door. Are you gonna shut the door? You're gonna shut the door? Right, let's just move this light, because the light is shining through from the side, so that's fine.
That's brilliant.
So as you were saying, sorry.
No, so I think I was just it's not a point that I've really thought about, but this idea of scheduling time for yourself and to do things that just treat you, especially if you're someone like, say, you do manual work, or even it requires a lot of thinking. The brain takes up a lot of our energy. Just think about the last time you did something to be kind to yourself. Not talking about buying yourself something, but just something to look after the machine that looks after you, the body, and something to just allow you to relax, not be entertained in the sense of watching Netflix. I don't really take as much time. The only thing I'm starting to do now is maybe go for a physiotherapy or a sports massage. And that for me is a way of completely turning off and reinvesting in the things that are keeping me going and keeping me active and able to work. So I think probably for the people who might have overlooked that point you were making, which is quite key, just take the time to do something for yourself. And also remember what you actually need most in life, which is, for example, oxygen or air, the air you breathe. So that morning where you start by breathing in, more people will think about what they have for breakfast than to think about just feeding oxygen to their body.
Absolutely.
How well you're breathing. And water, we need hydration much more. A lot of our brain and our body is water. So I think there's a lot of great takeaways you're giving people here that hopefully they are picking up on, and these help them through the days.
Basically not to be on autopilot.
Yeah, be conscious. Go through this consciously and take off the restrictors. Like you can meet anyone, speak to anyone, doesn't matter what level they're at. I want to transition now just to try and see if I can learn a bit more about you as well, Arn. So I think we've talked about the mindset. We've talked about mental health. Let's just let me scratch my itch, right? So firstly, I picked up on the Marvel references. So you're into figures, as am I. If you would describe what your superpower is, what would you say your superpower is right now as a person, firstly?
I think I've described it. My superpower is my thoughts become things. It's as simple as that. I know, and everyone's got that superpower. Literally, we don't realize how powerful we truly are. Our thoughts become things.
It's a manifestation. I like it.
Yeah.
And if you were to be a superhero, a Marvel superhero or any other, which one would you be and why?
Oh wow, you've got me now. Oh God, there's so many to choose from. So many. I would probably say. I've got my daughter wants to answer the question as well. Right, she's having a bit of meltdown because she loves Marvel too. So the Marvel superhero I would love to be. Oh gosh, I'm probably someone like Thor. And the reason why it'll be someone like Thor in Asgard is because they literally get to see the world or the universe, and because of that, again, I'm going to go down the geek stage of it now. Their aging process, so they are thousands of years of age, so, and they can see basically going through the Bifrost, and then they can literally go into different portals and go into different worlds and different realms. So it would probably be someone on Asgard, and obviously someone like Thor would be my go-to person.
Brilliant. I'll keep moving. I'll ask some more. Who taught you how to shave? There's the question. Who taught you how to shave?
Wow. I'm going to have to go deep in my memory banks here because, again, not crying me a river. My dad was never there for me to help me with any of that. Mum and dad divorced at a young age, so I never had my dad there. So I'm just trying to think, was it actually my brother who taught me? That is actually a deep one. I'm going to have to literally meditate on that because my answer, the truthful answer is I really do not know. I really do not know. I think I may have. I'm digging deep here. I believe I may have taught myself. I'm going to have to literally think about this, but I know for a fact, going back in my memory banks, I used to steal my brother's Bic razors, the yellow and white ones, the basic ones. And when I was yellow, orange, and white, and I used to just kind of, because our friends in school used to say, if you want to get a beard, what you need to do is just quickly shave every single day, and it grows back more. So I used to steal his and literally just like, sometimes I used to dry shave, like cut my skin, and I go, no, you need to put some like foam, find some foam. So I used to get his Gillette foam and put some foam on my kind of baby skin face and just shave. So I really cannot remember who actually taught me to shave. It may have been through trial and error, and then I just got there. But now I've given up. I've obviously got a full beard.
Go away. It's amazing how that switches. I remember I used to try and put shoe polish on when they were first coming out, just to make it look thicker. And now it's just whether you like it or not.
I know it's crazy. It's crazy the way like you just want it.
And going into that, what's the best thing about being Black?
Do you know what? I was thinking about this the other day, and this is probably going to be sound controversial, but I don't see myself. The more I've been like going into myself, I don't see myself as a color, as a person, as that. I think if I did, and I'll go back to the backstory about this. If I did, I think it would have stopped me a lot in my progression. Because back in the day, 20 years ago, probably about 20 years ago, I used to do door-to-door sales in like affluent areas to council areas and stuff like that. And if I would have had that mindset, are they gonna? And this one I reflect back because I didn't really see myself. If I'm Black, they're not going to want to answer the door to a Black person. I'm Black, and they're going to want to answer the door. I thought to myself, if I have that mindset, then they're not going to open the door. So I just used to be me, Arn Terry, and it's quite interesting when I go back and I think to my younger self, that was my mindset, but I wasn't consciously aware that's how I was training myself to be. And then going through my recruitment career, from being very junior to then managing the team and being paid quite handsomely from it as well, and being paid overrise on people's success, because obviously I was a manager and head of practice. Again, if I had that thought about I'm Black in X, I think it would have given me a limited belief. Yeah. So my answer to that is quite controversial. I'm not saying I'm being right, but it is. I don't see myself as that. I see myself as Arn Terry. Love me or hate me, that's up to you. But what I would say is what I love about the community of Black, and again, I was thinking about this before, about our laughter, our passion, our attitude, song, creativity, mindset, unity, Africa, where we've come from, the oppression, and then the oppression that we've got generated into rock and roll, it generated into blues, it generated into mumble rap, it generated into trap, it generated into hip hop, R&B. So if you put a colour on it as well, I see it as us being great, being creators, never giving up, in terms of the way that we was oppressed for and still are, obviously in slavery for over 500 years, etc. And then due to, I could speak about this subject for quite a while actually, due to the way that monuments were put up, obviously been recently pulled down by people that have suppressed us but gained their own wealth through the turmoil and the pain that we've gone through. Is we're still rising up. It's like kind of you haven't seen nothing yet. We've only really been going for in our current recorded history. We're infants into the capability and the possibility. So for me, being Black or thinking about Black is the unknown of what we're going to achieve, and I think it's quite scary. Again, I'm not going to get into the X race versus Y race, but I think it's quite scary for others because of where we've come within short space of time about where we've been oppressed and stopped, but we just keep getting that bit further. We keep pushing ourselves, and that's where I see it. I see creativity, unknown, and greatness.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very beautiful way to put it. And I haven't thought about Freetown, and trying to look at what was going on there. Yeah. Obviously, anyone who looks at that part of Africa, Sierra Leone, probably most people would have heard about it most when Kanye West did Diamonds Are Forever. But if you look along where Sierra Leone is, and you've got Ivory Coast, like, I think even the rapper Dave in his song Black, he talks about just some of those places were named after the key trade, and it makes you think, like, you could easily talk an hour about some of these things. But I like the point of, it's not about Black is better than this. We are ultimately people and beings, and when you achieve a certain level of consciousness, I think you appreciate that's just one metric you want to measure someone against, and it goes back to limiting the person down to this: the creativity, the innovation, the energy. To reduce it to us because you are Black, it diminishes everything about the person and what they're doing. So I think I really like your answer. I'd have accepted it if you went the other way as well, but I think I really like the way that you phrased it, and it goes really well with everything that you've been saying. On that note, my final question is, what do you wish more men talked about?
What we're talking about now, very simply, just being open and honest about the thoughts and the feelings. And I'll say one basic thing is, like, it'll be great when someone goes and speaks to the person and just says, "Are you happy?" Rather than how's business, or how's life. Because people say, life is fine. But if you just ask someone that question, are you happy? It kind of changes the conversation. Yes, people can still like skirt around it and lie, but rather than just jumping in and talking about the weather and small talk, it's about, are you happy? Well, no. Well, how can I help to make you happy? Oh, well, let me rephrase that, because that person needs to help themselves become happy. But we can be there for that person to guide them in the right way. So I think we just need to be speaking more about happiness, and again bringing it back to your initial word, care. It's speak about care and happiness. But I think we're a long way away from that. On the making it mainstream, just saying, because it's still seen as a bit weird and a bit hippie-ish, or a bit like kind of spiritual, just to talk about happiness and caring. But it's within every single one of us, every single being. But it's just for that person to realize that I believe is the first thing we need to be speaking about the most.
Love that. I think we might be closer because of, unfortunately, what is going on, because everyone is having to rethink, and you generally have to look at how people are doing right now. So fingers crossed, it doesn't take us too long to get there.
I completely agree. And I think what I do is I listen a lot to social media and adverts, like the big billion turnover businesses. And for me, I've got kind of a keen and an acute eye now, an ear of what they're saying. And you'll probably start to pick up on yourself when you start listening to the radio stations as well. That's talking about the mention words like manifest now. They're mentioning words like universe. They're mentioning words like well-being. They're mentioning words like meditation, and it is coming into even adverts and toys, because now it's the year when they're advertising with children's toys, and someone mentioned I can't remember what the phrase was, but it mentioned something like having your thought, using your thought to create something. I can't remember what, but this was like on the children's advertising some toy, using your mindset or something like that. So you can see it, and they're introducing it ever so slightly with all these large companies. So yeah, 100% it's there, but it's for us to be picking up on the way it's doing. But I guess it's probably been doing gradually, so it then becomes the norm within the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Well, I hope our conversation adds to that. I found it extremely valuable, and
Yes.
I wish to really thank you for making the time and sharing so openly and honestly. I've loved this. I've been looking forward to it for a long time, and I look forward to many more.
Me too.
Yeah, honestly, I think from
Indeed.
first when we met on the walk on Snowdon, I just there was a sense of admiration, and it was one of the, again, just few times as an individual, like connecting with someone for only a few hours and feeling that they are being so open, and just also for me, someone older than I am, because I have a lot of conversations with people older than me. I've always done so since I was young, but not at the level that we sort of had. And it showed me
Yeah.
how, if even I'm more open in my dialogues with the people younger than me, it'll change
Yeah.
how we'll connect as a community. So I think, yeah,
Indeed.
I really enjoyed it. And I found it amazing to
Yeah.
hear about your experiences. There were so many other thoughts I had, so I think we'll have more conversations. But it might be really cool to have some more recorded conversations for other people. A lot of books were coming to mind as you were speaking as well. So I think that's
Yeah. Yeah, we could literally just have a conversation on books, the books we enjoy, to what we talked about in Snowdon, syllable beating when you're back. Most Africans will understand syllable beating when you've been naughty. Oh no, you must not do this because. so it's yeah, exactly. So I had an absolute blast on our walk in Snowdon. I needed it so much, and again, like I said, I am smiling, happy. I am truly happy, even though stuff doesn't go my way, and I've been affected. My recruitment business has been affected greatly. I've lost obviously an hour amount of money in my recruitment business, but the main thing is that I'm happy. And people will be saying, "Well, how can you be happy if you've got kind of situation going on?" It's because I choose to be happy. Simple. I am happy. So you don't need a reason. You don't need a reason. You don't need to be happy because you got a big house or you got a big car, or or you don't need to be happy because if something goes wrong, you don't have to stop being happy. You can still be happy with stuff going wrong. So that's hopefully a takeaway that some people have got from this.
I love it. I think we'll end on a quote I heard this year from a man called Jeff Mackey, and it goes with the mindset idea. And he says, "An optimist doesn't have a better life than a pessimist. They just think they do." I'll leave that one to marinate with people. Oh, Art, it's an absolute pleasure.
Likewise. Really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Arn, so if people wanted to find out more about you and what you're doing, or Freetown Mindset, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Many ways. Very simple. You can just Google my name, Arn Terry, and then it'll spit out place where you can find me. So you can get me on LinkedIn, you can get me on Twitter. I've got my YouTube channel, so please do check out my YouTube channel. Just type in Freetown Mindset or Arn Terry. Or if you do want to check out my course on how to turn a passion to profit, dominate social media, just literally type in freetownmindset.com. But I love speaking to people, I love connecting, so feel free to find me on YouTube, Instagram, and happy to have a 30-minute consulting or coaching call with you if that's what you need and want.
Perfect. That's ARNTERRY. So Arn Terry, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for helping us change the narrative and put out a more positive perspective on Black men and mental health.
Gratitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ooh, I was like, ooh.
Hopefully you can't hear the dog crying in the background.
Nah, I didn't catch it in the mic. Hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed creating.
Don't forget to follow, like, share, and connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Subscribe to our latest episode and listen to any you missed. And tune in next episode.
Take care.